Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before I start real quick, I just want to go ahead and shout out my guild GMS Boundless. I'm going to be uploading a video every now and then on that channel, just kind of help promote it. But it's my guild's YouTube channel, tons of Maplestory contents on the way over there. So if you guys want to go ahead and give it a follow, you might be seeing some content from me over there. But without further ado, uh, oh, and links down in the description box below. And without further ado, I just want to go ahead and start today's video, which is going to be gear progression all the way from level 0 to level end game. Okay, so I might as well start it off with the little chat box here. So, oh man, of course my text is black. And one of the things that's kind of interesting about early game progression, um, is that level 0, or I guess level 10, because most characters kind of start off there, to level 100, um, there really isn't a set stone gear that you're supposed to use. And when I say that, I mean there's really only one way to obtain gear at such a low level when you can't do any bosses, and that's pretty much just from looting off the ground. So I know it's probably the worst answer you can probably get, but mostly from level 10 to level 100, especially if you play in Reboot, you really don't have a choice. All the gear that you're going to be using is going to be looted off the ground. And that could be anything from like level 60 gear at Drake's or whatever map you're training in. Reboot's especially good because it drops items that are specifically in your level range because you pretty much can only kill mobs within like a 5 level window. So level 10 to 100, you're pretty much just looting. And that could be literally any cape, accessory, whatever that you find in the ground from mobs. And things pretty much really only start getting interesting once you hit about level 100. And at that point you pretty much kind of unlock a couple of bosses. And I kind of want to say this kind of applies for the level range of, let's say, level 100 to 150 is this level range. And pretty much at this point, you can start killing bosses, start getting carried, and most importantly, you can start really increasing your damage range. Um, that's kind of more significant than you were from level 10 to 100 because you have so much access to all these gears. Now, accessory wise, you probably won't find anything level 10 to 100 unless you get the Kerbox set, which gives you like 10 stat per item. Honestly, I don't even think it's worth your time to do those. You get such minimal gain that I doubt it would change your damage output that much. So you would go pretty much just grinding to level 100 and level 150, and once you do that, you pretty much unlock all of the early game bosses like Zakum, Horntail, Pink Bean. I think you can do Magnus at 150. I'm not that sure though. Um, Von Leon, Arcarium, Horntail. Am I missing anything here? Maybe Papulatus? I'm not sure. You can for sure start doing Empress when you get into higher levels. Again, I'm kind of just like going over my initial thoughts because it is 1 a.m. and I didn't really plan this video out too well, but let me just make sure. So Empress can be done at level 165. Okay, so let's not count Empress yet. Oh, and Hilla. Hilla's the last one I forgot. And that's pretty much where you're going to see a majority of these gears that I'm highlighting here come into play. So you can do Von Leon for these 3 accessories and this ring, and then you can do a Zakum for this ring. This is a Silver Blossom ring. And Zakum's also really nice too in that it gives you 3 accessories. It also gives you your face and eye accessory along with the ring, so that's 3. And you pretty much are just trying to fill as many ring slots as you can. Typically, there's a lot of events running where you can do them and hopefully get enough points or whatever to buy a ring from the shop that are significantly better than these rings. But basically, you want to get each one of these rings. This one you get in from trading 10 of these pieces that drop from Von Leon, and you trade them into Ifia, and you get this noble ring that's potable. Um, And then you want to do Horntail. Horntail will drop you 2 accessories, or maybe 3 if you can do hard. You will not use one of them once you get this Mechanator pendant though. So you'll be using this Deacidus earring, and then you'll be using the Chaos Horntail pendant. But you use the Horntail pendant until you can kill Chaos Horntail, and then you use the Chaos Horntail pendant. Alternatively, you can do Hilla. So Hilla will drop this earring. I think that's the only thing she drops, and I guess the stone, but you kind of replace this immediately with the pink bean cup. But this earring actually gives you, I think, about 2 additional all stack compared to the Deacidus. It's part of the same set effect too, so you'll still get those bonuses. So if I were to do this, it would be you would get these 2 from Zachem. Oops. All 3 of these rings, and then you would want to do Horntail or whatever for either one, or Hilla for either one of these accessories. And then you want to do Horntail and Arcarium. Now this comes with a long list of prequests, which I'm sure there's guides on YouTube if you really want to know how to get them done. But it's pretty self-explanatory for the most part once you get started. Belt-wise, you can either go with the pink bean belt or the Chaos Zachem belt. Personally, I like the pink bean belt because you're already going to do pink bean anyways, but it does have a long list of prequests. Um, but either one of these belts will do, so you just pick one of them. And your shoulder, I specifically chose this shoulder over the Emperor's shoulder, not only because there's a lower level requirement, it drops from Horntail. Oh, so I guess Horntail drops another accessory. But it's also part of the set, so if you were to count this all in total, so let's say you get the pink bean cup and you use that, you end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can get 9 set of the boss accessory set, which is as high as it goes, and that pretty much rounds out all of your accessories. As for armors, you actually have more or less 2 options. So once you hit about level 100, you'll see the Pencilier set drop for you once you start hitting around level 140, and before that there's other sets too. I think one of them is pink. That one's level 130 set. I didn't include it here because it's more or less the same idea. You just pick it up as it drops, but you can use either one of these sets for now and clear and get pretty decently far. I think when I cleared CRA for the first time, I was probably using temporary CRA gear from the Mega Burnt or Terra Burning event, but you can also do it in Pencilier gear. It's just a little more hassle because you have to actually potential these. But again, these will drop from mobs around your level. Alternatively, if you have someone to take you Hilla that has drop rate or whatnot, you can actually start collecting her armor pieces. And these armor pieces are good because they can actually have higher tier flames than your all Pencilier alternatives. So for I guess an immediate stat boost, the Pencilier, this is like the Necro set. This is actually a little tiny bit better. Um, if you somehow manage to get insanely good flames on all of them. Now these can pretty much get bypassed by this Dragon Tail set. Um, just because it drops from Empress, it's a different drop system. It's pretty similar to CRA gear, but basically what you want to do is, so this I guess it would be in like the level 180 range, level 200 maybe. If you're level 200, you can get into Empress. If someone kill it in a party, or have someone kill it for you, get pieces, and you can just trade them in for these armors. These armors have higher stat than the Necro set, and then they can also get the same flame. I didn't include the shoulder because you really don't want to break up this 9 accessory set, and I also don't think the shoulder gives you that much value anyways. Weapon wise, I didn't really include it on here, but let's just add a new section. Say you are hitting level 180 to 200 plus. At around this time, you have a lot more options in terms of gear, just because you can start doing CRA, you start getting carried, you can start doing Gollux. So I wanted to include the Gollux set here, but again, I personally still prefer using this set over the Gollux until you can start getting these upper pieces. Um, but the notable things to include here that I think are pretty manageable is getting a CRA set, so you can go ahead and drop these in. Obviously, if you have carries, you probably already know how this game is going to work. You pretty much just jump from these to Absols to Arcanes, etc., etc. But just for the people who don't know, I'm gonna make this a relatively short video because I think I can get a lot of this information out there pretty quickly. Once you hit about level 180 to 200 plus, you can actually get access to things like Commercy. So you'll probably um, want to replace um, your accessories for these two. I know you're breaking up this accessory set, but for the most part at this point, you either want to use this Sweetwater tattoo, which is a face accessory, or the monocle, or this black bean mark. And I say black bean mark because there's really no reason to waste your money on investing in a monocle when you're just gonna redo it later when you get a papulatus mark. If you don't know about transposing, basically you end up just getting one of these drops from hard papulatus, flaming it, and then transposing it onto this monocle. And you do that through an NPC in Commercy. But until then, the black bean mark is really good because again, it's part of the boss set, and also it has a whatchamacallit, it has a higher flame tier. So this is actually pretty decent when considering its functions. And then the other things you're actually kind of open to. You can start getting primal essences. I know Meisterring's kind of fallen out of line, but if you wanted to, you could also get a Meister's Ring from primal essence drops that you're mining and whatnot. Um, Mining or whatchamacallit, getting as boss drops from Arcarium. And then, if you can find yourself a hard Gollux carry, or if you can, start killing in a party, your Gollux set actually starts applying not only putting the superiors, but the reinforced ring is also very vital in this set. So I guess I could just include it here too. And this will end up replacing a lot of these rings, but the bonuses from these items are really good. Um, this will obviously get sped up with a carry, so if you can't get carried, just work overtime. You have your alternatives, which is this boss set. And it sucks sometimes to have to cube these to like legendary and whatnot because it's a really big waste of money. But if you don't have any help, if you haven't joined a guild or whatnot, you really don't have a choice progression wise. I think most people are able to find carries, which I'm glad about. Just because I personally think it also speeds up game progression a lot faster too. So yeah, and then once you hit 250 or like 250, like I'll put ahead and put it right here, level like 200 plus plus plus, right? You start going into your end game gears, and this point, oh, that's the wrong button. And at that point, you're switching to arcanes. I'm not including weapon here because I think it's pretty obvious. You're getting your Sweetwater set that's transposed and whatnot, and you're getting your Gollux accessories. And at this point, once you get into like the kind of end game stage-ish, things start moving a lot faster once you can start soloing bosses on your own. Um, but if you can't, that's the whole reason why this is like a kind of a progression thing. You start getting these accessories and whatnot. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all there really is. Maplestory is kind of whack in the sense that early game is kind of hard, and then the middle-ish late game starts speeding up, and then the super late game starts slowing down again because now that once you have all these gears, you actually have to upgrade them. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I answered a lot of questions, but this is pretty much how gearing up progression-wise is gonna work for a lot of people in the server. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. But for the most part, this is the journey that most people are gonna have to go through. If they're trying to gear up from, solo progression series, type kind of vibe, this is kind of what you have to do. And you actually saw me do it a lot too. And now for all of you who stuck to the end, there's actually some other honorable mentions that I didn't include here. And that's weapon. You can actually get a weapon from Sweetwater, or Commercy. It's called the Sweetwater set. The weapon drops quite frequently and it has really high base stats, and you actually saw me use it in my solo progression series. So around this level, you can actually also include a Sweetwater weapon. Along with that, there's also like item alternatives. Like if you were to do the Mushroom Shrine prequest, you can get the Wings of Fate, I believe is what it's called. It's a cape that has super high base stats. There's like 50 all stat and some kind of attack. You could also get Tyrant gear if you're already doing hard magnets in a party and whatnot. You can actually use the Tyrant cape too. It's actually really good because it has such high base stats. I don't recommend upgrading it at all, um, just because it's so costly. But you can use it for its base stats, and in that regard, it's kind of similar to the Wings of Fate. So I wouldn't see why you wouldn't just use the Wings of Fate. Um, But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Please comment down below if you guys have any more questions. As always, all my links to my socials and also to my growing Discord community that's all about Maplestory is all gonna be in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.